6 p.m. You're watching TSN Online. In this episode, I'll tell you how Ukrainian drones gave Putin a birthday surprise. The TSN team has gathered the most interesting updates at this moment, so let's sum up the first results of this Tuesday. In September, our unmanned aerial systems attacked over 66,000 Russian targets. That's almost 11% more than in August, according to the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Oleksiy Syrsky. He added that this is our response to the constant attempts to break through our defenses. They do manage to achieve this at times, but only at the cost of enormous losses. Now let's take a closer look at the situation on the battle map. The enemy has captured Malivka in the Dnipropetrovsk region and advanced near Novopavlivka and Okhotnichi in the Zaporizhzhia region, Voronovy in the Dnipropetrovsk region, and Belgorod in the Donetsk region. This was reported by the analytical portal Deep State. The largest number of Russian assaults took place in the Pokrovsk, Novopavlivka, and Toretsk sectors. In total, over 100 attacks were repelled there. In total, 193 combat engagements took place along the entire front line over the past day. The defense forces struck 7 areas where enemy personnel were concentrated, including a Russian command post. Also, the fighters of the 141st Separate Mechanized Brigade shared exclusive video footage of the assault on the village of Zhytomyr in the Dnipropetrovsk region. Its clearing was reported in recent days by deep state analysts. There, the Ukrainian armed forces eliminated about 50 occupiers and captured 8.
Slovositchna has been liberated. There was a barrage of fire.
He has almost made a decision on whether to sell Ukrainian Tomahawks. The President of the United States, Donald Trump, responded to journalists' questions about whether he has decided on Ukraine's request for the supply of long-range Tomahawk missiles, which President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, asked him for during their meeting in New York last month. Trump said that he has almost made a decision but still wants to find out how these missiles are planned to be used, adding that he does not want to allow an escalation. Let me remind you, Russian leader Putin, commenting on the possibility of supplying this weapon to Ukraine, said that it would destroy relations between Russia and the United States.
I have almost made a decision already, if you think about it. Yes, I think I want to find out what they will do with them, where they will launch them. Perhaps I should have asked these questions.
Russia is trying to sever Ukraine's critical artery. Moscow aims to disrupt the heating season and paralyze the work of Ukrzaliznytsia. This was reported after another attack on the locomotive depot and rolling stock in his Telegram channel by the Prime Minister. At night, the Russians attacked energy facilities and railway infrastructure in Poltava and Sumy regions. As a result of the strikes, more than 1,000 households in Poltava and nearby settlements were left without electricity. Part of Sumy was left without power. The goal of the attack, says Kuleba, is obvious. Russia is trying to turn cold and darkness into a weapon. On World Cotton Day, unidentified drones flew into Russia. As a result of the strikes, Belgorod was plunged into darkness, and city residents complain about living by candlelight. Meanwhile, in the Leningrad region, in the city of Kurishi, one of the largest oil pumping stations has stopped. The station, hit by drones, provided about 40% of the plant's total capacity, and its restoration will take about a month. And a new record, the drones covered 2,000 kilometers and struck Tyumen. And despite statements from the local authorities that there were no hits, locals recorded a massive deployment of emergency services around the Antipinsky oil refinery. And at the temporarily occupied Crimea, the oil depot in Feodosia continues to burn. For the second day in a row, they have been unable to extinguish the fire. The flames are spreading to other tanks. Acrid smoke has enveloped the surrounding area, while the local authorities pretend as if nothing is happening. These are the kind of greetings that have been sent to Putin from Ukraine. The dictator turns 73 today, and we are eagerly awaiting more explosive congratulations for him. Wishing him a swift death, to burn in hell forever and to feel all the pain of the millions he has wronged. These fiery wishes are how Ukrainians are congratulating Vladimir Putin today. As is tradition, TSN went out onto the streets of the capital to ask citizens what they think about the Russian dictator. Ukrainians did not hold back in their statements, and together they all wished to find out the date of the Russian dictator's death as soon as possible. So let's watch.
You know, unfortunately, today is Putin's birthday. What would you wish him? That he would just die?
That he would end everything.
Hang yourself.
I wish him a speedy recovery from this illness.
It should have been added a long time ago.
Do you think so?
So that he dies.
Hashtag, hashtag, hashtag.
Smriti. And how early was that? And painful.
Death. Putin is just a brutal dictator, a truly ordinary one who is, well, very much like Stalin.
An inhuman, a killer, a bloodsucker, and, excuse me, a bastard. Well, not even worthy of butter, a brute.
Oh, this individual has brought so much profound grief to all of humanity that he most probably deserves absolutely nothing but to truly burn in the eternal fires of hell.
He should just drop dead, that bastard. Or I'll strangle him myself if I catch him.
Do you even think about him at all?
Well, what can you think about a brute like that? Well, what do you think?
A truly miserable, utterly worthless person. That's all he really is, and I'll tell you this. I just feel profoundly sorry for all the innocent people who foolishly followed him. He is absolutely cursed, and nothing genuinely good will ever come of this situation. Cursed is every person, not just ours, Chechnya, Georgia, Khazaria, our Ukraine, the peaceful Donbas.
Vladimir Putin was put into power by those mysterious occult witches to rule over Russia. Is he genetically a truly sick person?
He's not human. And unfortunately, the whole country is set up this way, this Soviet system. So many years have passed, I'm an adult, and I still don't understand how any of this even works. This Soviet system is working in them now, even more than when we were pioneers, Komsomol members, and so on. Let it be that on the next birthday, we won't hear from a working person anymore, and that's it. Let it be so.
In any case, may he die as soon as possible, but really, before he dies, I want him to feel, I'll say it in Russian, to feel all the pain of the Ukrainian people that he has caused all this time, no matter what. Well, I think he's some kind of Satanist, so I don't think he realizes what he's doing. I genuinely don't think that he, well, truly thinks or deeply feels like what a normal, ordinary person would typically experience.
Only the very worst for him, for what he has done and brought upon our people. May it all come back to him. He is not a human being. I've realized that he is not a human being. People don't do things like that.
It's important, the other half on the monument. The day of death.
When do you think that will be?
What's there to guess? If it had already happened, it would be even better.
But he died.
And
the sooner the better.
He is not a human being. He's a beast, a monster, whatever you want to call him. He doesn't even deserve a place on this earth.
Oh Lord God, death, hell, and all that is evil. He lives well, I think his head is still alive. Around him and from there, it's such a mess. Well, in general, Russians live their own lives with some kind of rural evil. Do you think he's celebrating today?
I think he is celebrating. Did you hear his speech at Valdai when he said that his tears were literally falling for Ukraine? So he must be celebrating a lot.
Well, only up there, God knows how much time he has left for his sins and what kind of punishment awaits him.
Hungary has no moral obligation to support Ukraine's accession to the EU. Viktor Orbán publicly complained about Volodymyr Zelensky. The Hungarian Prime Minister wrote on the social network X that the Ukrainian president is allegedly using a tactic of moral blackmail to force countries to support his military efforts and accession to the European Union. According to Orbán, his country has no moral obligation to support Ukraine's European integration, and he reminded about the survey conducted in Hungary regarding support for Ukraine's EU membership. Its results showed that the majority of Hungarians allegedly did not support this decision. It is noteworthy that in this survey, the questions were formulated quite provocatively. In particular, there were statements about the threats posed by Ukraine's accession to the EU. Even Orbán himself says that they do not want to be in the same union with Ukrainians because their fate is to be alongside Russia. In fact, it is precisely for this reason that this country is currently blocking the opening of so-called negotiation clusters with the EU for Ukraine. Our government holds a completely different opinion. Volodymyr Zelensky has previously stated that our country will become a member of the EU, regardless of the position of the Prime Minister of Hungary. He brutally killed his innocent wife and their beloved 9-year-old daughter, mercilessly slaughtered the family's cherished cats and their loyal dog, And then, in a shocking escalation of violence, he deliberately went outside into the quiet neighborhood and severely injured a completely unsuspecting neighbor who was simply standing peacefully near her own yard, minding her own business. All of this happened in the Zhytomyr region. The man suspected of committing these crimes has already been detained and taken into custody. TSN correspondent Anna Makno with more details.
One moment he's pacing around the courtroom, then suddenly he sits down, acts defiantly and interrupts the judge.
He absolutely has no right at all to establish the rules in this place.
He doesn't mind being filmed, but being in custody is another matter.
We object. We're a bit confused. How can I not be guilty?
Today, a 43-year-old man is being chosen a preventive measure for a serious crime, and while the judge goes to the deliberation room, he confides in TSN.
And so,
what do you admit to?
I was there with my beloved wife and also with my dear child. Things just got out of hand.
The man violently inflicted multiple stab wounds upon his 42-year-old wife with a sharp kitchen knife. This tragic incident occurred recently. Hearing her mother's screams, their 9-year-old daughter ran up, and the man also stabbed his child.
The whole village was shocked by the terrible crime in Holomshina. Just a few hours before the murder, all the neighbors had seen the family, and nothing seemed to foreshadow the tragedy. At about 8 in the morning, I saw her. They were standing there, and already by lunchtime, the man was outside alone, with a bag in his hands, as it would later turn out. After killing his family, he turned to harming 4-legged creatures.
He strangled 2 cats that were in the yard and put them in a bag. Outside, he saw a little dog and started beating it.
Then he headed toward the neighbors he met on the street.
The girls started screaming and ran away, and he chased after them with a knife.
One of the neighbors wounded by him recounted the events over the phone from the hospital. Eventually, the police detained the man. That's when they discovered it in the house, the bodies of his family members.
She lay there all night, that little girl. The mother was lying in the veranda.
But as it turned out, the children shouldn't have been with their parents at all.
At the end of August, there was a court decision to strip this man and his wife of their parental rights. But the children were not removed in time.
How do the local authorities and the Child Welfare Service explain this? Why do people in the village say there could have been more victims? And what consequences the suspect faces, I will tell you in the next broadcasts. Reporting from Zhytomyr region, TSN 1+1.
Eurovision is on the brink of an unprecedented crisis. And that one major founding country after the new contest opposed the suspension of Israel due to the military actions in the Gaza Strip. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz expressed his protest against this decision. The politician stated that he considers it a scandal that the very topic of suspending Israeli television from this event is being discussed, since they are part of this community. He also threatened that his country would refuse to participate if such a decision is made. This topic is currently sparking heated debates among the Eurovision participant countries. Switzerland and Austria, which is set to host the contest next year, have also expressed their support for Israel. Meanwhile, broadcasters from Spain, Ireland, Iceland, Slovenia, and the Netherlands have threatened to boycott. This would happen if the European Broadcasting Union does not suspend this country for its military actions against the Palestinians. The official decision on the extremely difficult question of whether or not to allow Israel to participate will be made in November. After all, by mid-December, all countries must confirm their participation. That's all the news for now. That's how this Tuesday will be remembered. Watch more in the next edition of TSN. Sviatoslav Hrenchuk, as always, will sum everything up at 7:30 p.m.